revolution. The people's revolution. This is the revolution. I wanna hear everybody sing. Everybody sing freedom. Man and woman sing freedom.
Thank you very much, Angie, and thank you all for the warm welcome this evening. Let me begin by saying I got 7 pre-action protocol letters already. And 8 is not enough. Political leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, members of Parliament, senators, members of the National Executive, constituency officers, activists, supporters, friends assembled in San Fernando tonight. Supporters, members, activists listening on our various social media platforms, including several supporters in Canada, the United States, in the Caribbean and Europe, tuning in tonight to our regular Monday night forum. Brothers and sisters all, it is indeed a great pleasure to address you this evening on some of the issues facing Trinidad and Tobago, some of the challenges facing our people, our country. May I begin by congratulating this electric, dynamic, energized platform tonight on the wonderful job so far. Sometimes it is a bit intimidatory to speak after somebody like Anil Roberts, believe it or not. But I want to congratulate Senator Damian Lyda for the wonderful presentation this evening. His energized presentation dealing with the failures of the government. And literally, he built a sweat here. We want to thank and recognize and congratulate our very dear sister, a hardworking grassroots activist, representative of the people, Michelle Benjamin. And when she speaks, you hear she's speaking from her heart concerning her constituents. She has the passion for her constituents, for the people of Moruga, Tableland, and Trinidad and Tobago. And I can assure you, she brings that passion in the parliament as well, where she represents the people there with distinction. And of course, something of a superhero on the platform of the UNC and the media. He's one of the most fearless, courageous politicians of this generation that we have ever had in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's hear it for Senator Anil Roberts. And I think people fear him so much that he may have to beg for the rest of his life for 1 pre-action protocol letter. Because it doesn't matter what he says. None is forthcoming. I don't think they could find senior counsel, Queen's counsel, to handle this man. So tonight he was on fire. Tonight he was dynamic as he posed very important questions. And I took note of that issue that Senator Roberts raised. I find that is a fascinating issue, that a member of parliament in the government went to work on a committee that involved developing his own constituency, and he collected $10,000 for that. But that is, no, but that's sounding like fake news. But Anil Roberts read from a report. What kind of man will do this? That is like a man picking up, he driving taxi. Anil, he pick up his children to carry them to school and he do so. And he collect money. You ever hear that? A father driving a taxi take money from his children to take them to school? But that is Keith Scotland. But that is abominable, and Anil Roberts dealt with that. So today, brothers and sisters, we meet as our beloved nation appears on autopilot. The crew of this government and cabinet has abandoned ship. Their corruption, malice, hate, incompetence has finally exposed what was always a barren, unworthy group of unskilled and remorseless souls running this country. One scandal after another appears. This has left the cabinet leaderless, without direction and without vision. Do you know the Prime Minister is not missed even when he goes missing? He is not missed. He has truly gone off the rails. This time he's off the rails. When the Prime Minister Rowley is not cussing the opposition, he buffing the media. He kept a grudge in his craw for 15 years against a reporter. The fella name is Darren Bahau, I think. Bahau. 15 years, Rowley kept a grudge in his throat. And when he let loose, you know he was wrong? He was wrong on the article. He was wrong on the picture. And 15 years he keep that. Today we are in fear with this man because today CNC carried a report. I thought it was an accurate report. I don't know. The report had to do with Anita Haynes' story. And I think she wanted to say Rowley bullying Tobagonians. And CNC3 edited that, and I thought it was accurate because I listen to Anil Roberts all the time. But when he read that, Darren Bahau gone again. This man toting feelings. We had to call my brother and get a truck to carry it by the residents to carry the feelings he toting. One man can't do that. I mean, 15 years, you remember that? I can remember something last year. And this man keeping that in his throat, that tells you about the leader. He is determined to prop up his dishonored and embattled Attorney General and defend the indefensible Minister Foster Cummings. Now we understand the latter, but not the former. Why would he defend Lymore? We know why he would defend Cummings, Anil. We understand both of them eating from the same plate. We understand they're drinking from the same vessel. So we could understand that they are brothers. Now I don't know why all are getting on like that, Rowley wallows in his own hate and spite with malice and revenge. He is now blaming parents. He said the problem we face is parenting now. So they can't deal with crime. It has nothing to do with policy and police and managing the society. He said, listen, this thing has to do with parenting. And now he says a public health emergency. Crime. What is he really saying? That the whole country gone mad? It's a public health emergency? Crime is crime. Crime is crime. You have policy, you have program, you have law enforcement, you have a justice system. We think the whole country gone mad? Public health emergency? But that is Rowley and D.L. Singh. Brothers and sisters, I want to remind you, do you know every year there is one significant moment? There may be more moments, but there's one. When we recognize good parenting, or let's say successful children. Do you know during the SCA, when the SCA results are presented to us, they choose the top performers, whether it's 50, 100, I don't know. And you celebrate excellence. Every modern developed society celebrates excellence in education, training, vocational skill as well. Excellence is something you must recognize and celebrate. You know they stop that now? They do away with that. Not to highlight the children who do well at the SCA. So you don't lift the children, you don't motivate, you don't inspire. A child getting a trophy, meeting a minister. When Tim Gopi Singh was there, we encouraged them to meet the children who do well, but meet their parents. That was a time we celebrate parenting as well. When you hear from children about how their parents help them, what they do to help them to do well. When you hear from the parents, their sacrifice. You know the one occasion we celebrate parenting, they do away with that. So they talk about bad parenting, but do not want to commend, to acknowledge, to reward good parenting. And that is the dilemma this government faces. That's the dilemma. Why would you do that? But when we get back in office, which will be very soon, we will acknowledge the children, the parents, the teachers, the principals. Acknowledge their good work, because how do you help the others who don't do as well is by lifting the people who do well and making them the example. So others will follow. And we do that in our constituencies as well. But the PNM and Rowley, and what is her name? Minister Foley? Dolly, Minister Dolly. It is a Foley, not a Dolly. They don't want to recognize the excellence in the children. All societies, as I said, is built on that. But I will move away from that. I think Sister Anita Haynes will deal with that as well as the bullying in Tobago by Rowley. So, yesterday, brothers and sisters, a startling, scandalous article appeared in the Sunday Express page 5. I have it in my hand and I think they can bring up that as well to show you. Public clashes with then DPP Henderson. I don't know how much of you may have seen it. Some will not. Some will not. But I want to tell you that the ruling of the Privy Council in the Piarco 1 matter dealing with allegations of corruption in the Piarco airport 21 years ago or so, the ruling of the Privy Council recently highlights the issue of political interference in the judiciary. This had to do with bias. The Privy Council in a sense say, look, all of them think all they was doing, they was biased because the chief magistrate is alleged to have colluded with the then Attorney General to look to prosecute essentially UNC ministers and a UNC Prime Minister as well. Could you imagine, I ask you all, the uproar, the protests, the amount of police action we would have seen if a UNC Attorney General, Anand Ramlogan or anybody, and a UNC Treasurer arranged to help a magistrate out of financial difficulty while he was presiding over matters involving PNM people? You could imagine what they would have done. But this is what happened. To date, nobody has been held to account. Brothers and sisters, in this article, I just read a few lines for you. It's very critical. The reporter publishes excerpts from emails between the then DPP Jeffrey Henderson, who is, I believe, now a judge at the Court of Appeal, and the then Attorney General John Jeremy, who is alive and at large in Trinidad and Tobago. He didn't pass away, the chief magistrate passed away. John Jeremy is alive and well, to our knowledge. In this series of emails, look at it. Jeremy, in a matter, January 25th, 2007, Jeremy responds to Henderson. He says, my public utterances on the matter are not in any way to be construed as expressing a view one way or the other on the constitutional question. And quite frankly, they are none of your business. He's talking to the DPP of this country. December 20th, 2006, Jeremy wrote to Henderson again. He says, and this one is a nice one for you to remember, effective immediately, any and all dealings or proposed dealings which you have with the Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau should be channeled through the Office of the Attorney General. Understand that? He's telling the DPP that the Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau that investigating criminal allegations of criminal conduct against everybody, politician or anybody, everything come through me. That speaks to interference with the criminal justice system. Direct interference. December 18, 2006, Jeremy to Henderson. With respect, you are not only wrong in law, but quite frankly, you are out of place. That's how Jeremy is speaking to the DPP. The DPP responds, hear this one. DPP, November 9, 2006. Henderson to Jeremy. The advice recommended that critical charges be laid against Basdev Pandey at a time when I was not satisfied that charges could be properly laid. Henderson is telling Jeremy the advice, some advice he would have given, recommended that criminal charges be laid against Mr. Pandey. At that time, I was not satisfied that charges could be properly laid. This view was also held by Sir Timothy Castle, who led the prosecution in the Pandey trial. Imagine the man who lead the prosecution in the Pandey trial say, hey, I didn't think him could properly do that, you know. But there we go with it. This is what this email is saying, November 9, 2006. November 26, 2006, in around the same time, Jeremy to Henderson. It does not lie within your mouth, in my view, to lay criticisms against the criminal justice system. That's what we're talking, you know. Rude, insulting the DPP. December 11, 2006. Hear this one. Classic. Henderson to Jeremy. I am not subject to your directions. Your continued efforts to have me initiate charges against certain persons are highly improper, and should they continue, And should they continue, it can imperil the successful prosecution of any charge initiated in the matters under investigation. Henderson is telling Jeremy, you are referring to persons who are associated in one way or another with a political party that is in opposition to the government. It is therefore even more imperative that any decision to prosecute is not only independent, but must be seen to be independent. Could you imagine this? If this is true, it is a scandal. It speaks of criminal wrongdoing. And nobody says fake, huh? Nobody yet has, this came out yesterday. Today nobody responds to say it's not true. Brothers and sisters, to date none of them have been held accountable for their actions. Coming in the heels of that judgment I told you about the Privy Council, this article came out yesterday, which shocked, I think it should send a chill up your spine, that an attorney general was doing this. He was exchanging correspondence, insulting, belittling the then DPP in a direct attempt to pressure the DPP to bring criminal charges against UNC officials. Don't forget the PNM established the Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau. They started it and put it in the office of the Attorney General. This was the beginning of the political witch hunt. But you see, they were learning from a next party called the PNC in Guyana, who also did something like that. But I'll speak about them next time, not tonight. So as you would have seen in this Express article, Jeremy wanted communications between the police and the DPP to pass through him. He was the filter. This happens when the PNM is in power. They cannot keep their paws off any independent institution. That is the PNM. In this administration, let's jump now. That's 2006, 2007, and so on. Today, 2020, 21, 22, let's talk about now. In this administration, look how they interfered with the Police Service Commission, recommended a commissioner of police to the president. The prime minister jump up, he says, me. I go on and I tell them, hold your hand on that. We don't want that. This is how they interfere with the police and the DPP. The office of the DPP is constitutionally protected. The independence of that office is so important because it is essential to isolate that office from political interference. That is why it is provided for in the Constitution. The police is also supposed to be independent and don't take instructions from politicians and cabinet and prime minister. They report and work with the DPP. If they are investigating a matter and need clarification or they need an opinion, that should be done by the DPP, who must instruct and advise. This is how the setup, the criminal justice system is established. Jeremy then and others today are directly interfering with the DPP. They are directly interfering. In this government, you know what they have done? They believe they get catch trying to interact directly. They hire people from England and say, okay, you come, we paying you, you go and tell the DPP what to do. So today they have hired English people, make them SRP, give them $40 million, and their job is to investigate selected persons from the UNC. Not everybody. It has nothing to do with investigating white-collar crime and things. It's selected persons, and they now have to go and advise the DPP. So you see the same thing continues, that interference. And day to day, the foreign people, $40 million later, trying to influence the TTPS as to who to investigate because they are getting funding by the central government. So today, and I'm coming to it just now, body cam. The commissioner, he looking hard to find money to buy this. There's a charger. I buy one today. Look it. In fact, I walk with the bill to show all you too. I really buy it. There's the bill. Yeah. Look at the bill here. I buy this today. It's $400. If you buy $1,600, you'll get cheaper. The police don't have money to buy this, to charge body cam. They don't have this. They can't buy it. They say, we can't charge that. We don't know. We have the camera, but we don't have the charger. Now, when you buy an iPhone, you just get a box with a charger. When you go home, you add that to the other 5 you have. Huh? So do you buy camera, but you forget to say, boss, this camera, you could get a charger to go with it? This is the state of scandal. But $40 million to SRP Kate and the English to persecute and chase down and witch hunt. Brothers and sisters, these people advising DPP and police, they go on and take warrant like you just buy doubles. They take about 27, 30 warrant. Talking to everybody at the side of the road they could find. If they find the vagrant, they got warrant for he too. And they are on a political persecution. But they cannot take the money and give the police for resources. The police in our community just go to the garage and beg the garage to fix a police car free. That is what's happening. And the government is wasting money. So don't let them tell you they don't have money. They have money. They are squandering it. They allocate monies of the taxpayer for political persecution. They claim that chasing corruption is not that. When they came in office, you all remember, they withdrew the Malcolm Jones case in the court. So what white collar crime you're chasing? They withdrew the E-Tech Ken Julian case as well. So today, I want to remind the national community that, that a criminal offense called misbehavior in public office, a criminal offense, there is no statute of limitation. So today, in light of the reports carried yesterday in the newspaper, The Express, in light of these reports, I am saying that there is more than enough evidence to suggest that John Jeremy should be investigated for misbehavior in public office and attempting to pervert the course of justice. That is what they were doing. He was attempting to put political pressure on the DPP to prosecute political opponents. Rowley, Stewart, Alwari, watch it. You could be falling in the same grave as Jeremy. They could be falling. Others are doing the same thing, brothers and sisters. Tonight I make a special plea. The former DPP Henderson is a judge at the Court of Appeal, and it would be so easy to contact him, easy to find him, easy to get a statement from him. As a judicial officer, he should do all within his power to make sure that such a brazen attempt to interfere in criminal prosecutions do not go unpunished. Confidence in the administration of justice demands that action be taken against any politician who uses his office for gain, whether financial or political. Was Jeremy driven by financial or political? Was he driven by money or malice? That is a matter for the police, and the police must investigate these serious allegations made by former DPP Henderson. So John Jeremy, your name now with Rowley, Foster Cummins, on the list of persons being investigated by the, the Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau. But I have a next matter before them I want to raise. And I want to begin by congratulating Senator, the Honorable David Nakid. I want to congratulate him. That senator is the epitome of shared determination, unmatched courage, perseverance. The fella write the DPP not one letter, not two letter, not three letter. When I read one, there's 6 letter he write the DPP. One time I thought he would run out of ink and paper. He persevered, he continued, notwithstanding. I want to congratulate him on that type of unrelenting political stamina that he shows. Naked really teaches us that the pen is mightier than the sword. Today, we are told by a letter sent to Senator Naked, I have the letter here, they can pull up the letter for you to read, that the Acting Commissioner of Police has confirmed that that matter of Keith Rowley interfering with the Police Service Commission by somehow getting information to withdraw that merit list is before the Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau. I want to know if they're asking SRP Kate from England to help them with that investigation. I want to know if they're asking anybody from England, Britain, America, Europe, Grenada, Guyana, anyway, to help with that. Because it is not Rowley alone. It is the former members of the Police Service Commission. Bliss, where's the list? Si Pasad. Only remember she? Bliss, where's the list? She in that too. The president, by allowing her office to be manipulated, is in that too. So the police has to investigate all of them. And they may need, brothers and sisters, the help of the English people too. If you need that for EMBDC, you should need it for this too. So they should approach them. They must interview all the actors and actresses in this sordid matter, brothers and sisters. Interview all and investigate whether Rowley misbehaved in public office. He had no business in that. His business was when the list comes to the parliament, he could stand up in the parliament and say, look, we don't want this man. He purple and we don't like him. He wearing a long jersey and we don't like him. We don't like the shoes or the socks. You could say anything you want. Why you're rejecting a candidate, which they have done before. They reject about 5 people in parliament before, you remember? They could have rejected Gary Griffith, but no, he interfered in the process where he should not. And that is now before the police. And Senator Naked, every week you should write Jacob a letter and ask him, what's happening? Ask him that, brothers and sisters. Ask him. Amish, what we going to do, Dread? What we going to do with all of that now? And this is the sorry state we find in the country. This is the sorry state, brothers and sisters, that they will now investigate. And while all of this happening, what about this Minister of National Security? Fail Gerald Hines. That is the man. Fail Gerald Ethelbert Hines refused to take responsibility. I asked him last week, a question was on everybody's mind. I asked him a question. TikTok had a record of 20,000 views. Everybody want to know the answer. When the hell will you resign out of your utter failure to manage national security? What you waiting on, Hines? What you waiting on, Belgrove? You waiting on Boodoos to carry out? What you waiting on? Time to get out. You are tonight in the airport. I could tell you now, happening now. Happening now. In the airport tonight, out of a staff of immigration of 16 to 20 people, 5 show up for work. 5. Out of the 5, only 1 is working in arrivals. Tonight, our citizens, tourists, are lining up in tears, in pain, in trauma in the airport, waiting on 1 immigration officer to see them. That immigration division is under Fail Gerald Hines. And what is their grievance? They have not been paid overtime allowance for 1 year now. They have not been paid other allowances, including overtime. So it is a shame that in the airport, people who travel hours and hours on a plane, you're tired. You're tired, you have children and baby crying. They are in this airport for hours and hours waiting on 1 immigration officer. 1! Because the rest of them stayed away because the government cannot manage. The incompetent Hines cannot manage to meet and treat with the workers. Man, if you're owing people money, pay the people. At least negotiate settlements so they will stay and work while we pay them in a little bit if we have to. But he cannot do that. Same thing with the lifeguard. I pray to God Hines don't go swimming with them locks and maracas one day, In fact, I think he could be safer if it have no lifeguard. He could be safer without a lifeguard. If them lifeguard there, that might be a different story. For him, you might just see locks floating or something. So brothers and sisters, this is the incompetence. This is the incompetence we are talking about tonight in the airport. And I told you before, this immigration division has always had problems. Hines cannot manage. Look at this situation with body camera, but that's a classic now. That is a classic. I have it here for you too. Body cameras. Nowhere you could find a more shocking example of incompetence, willful neglect, and a cock and bull story to go with it. They have 1,600 body cams that Gary Griffith ordered and procured. When they come here, they say they don't have chargers for the device. Fail Gerald Hines boasting that the police busy distributing body cams around the country. The acting COP say, me know about that. We have a technological infrastructure problem. Say, what is the technical infrastructure? He said, we don't have a charger. That's the technical problem we have. And the body cam is in a box somewhere under somebody's office. They might be using that as a pira right now. That is where we are. When people are being killed in circumstances where there are legitimate questions about the conduct of police officers. A body cam is not only to tell you police was wrong, The body cam is to tell you police was right. It's to clear the policeman of false accusations. It is to tell you what happened. All over America, you always watch shows and things on TV all the time. This thing has become commonplace. Tonight I want to ask the Commissioner of Police, I mean, surely this, you can't be a charger. We could send somebody Miami tonight to bring the charger back in the morning, if that is the problem. Tonight we could buy that tank, bring it back. Rohan Sananan went Miami once, all you remember? And he bring back what he claimed was a suitcase as spare parts for some machine. Yeah, he brings something back in his suitcase. You could have sent people to get those things, those easy to get. The commissioner say, we don't have the command center operational, wireless technology. What he think this is, a CIA black ops operation? We think it's a FBI drug bust on the high seas, where we want live video at the command center. Live video to see what? Huh? A roadblock in Debe? That is where the cameras turn on. They record the evening exercise or whatever, all interaction with the police. And if need be, if there's an incident, there's a complaint, days after you go and say, let's get that footage. The footage is on the machine or is back at the police station. You don't need to see nothing live. What you want to see live? There's not a show, it's not a movie going on. But this is what normally does in America. They will go out there and as soon as they interact with the public, the rule is, you put on this camera and you thing. When you go into the washroom, where you go keep on the camera for it to go live at the command center. What nonsense are they talking about? That is only for interaction and it is not for all police. That is for the police who are on the front line, a minority of policemen. We used to sit down in the office whole day stamping paper for bar license and rum license and thing where you want body cam for that. This is for police out there. And there's no need for no command center infrastructure that way. They keep the footage, they go in the police station, you could download it on a computer or somewhere at the police station or headquarters. This is the footage of the last 7 days by Officer Moonilal. You keep that. If there's no complaint in 21 days or whatever, you erase that. And this is what they cannot do. So brothers and sisters, in light of that public demonstration and the fatal confrontation with the police, the body cams are critical. And the police commissioner must act quickly to ensure that those body cams are operational and are in use. And I think the police commissioner should stop hanging out with Hines. Have you noticed the more Hines is focused and pictured and photographed with the commissioner, is the more the commissioner talking something kind of wrong? It is the effect of Hines. He's hovering around. And that is the effect on him. So Hines, you should stay away from the commissioner. And if you cannot get 1,600 body cams to work, then you should be fired. Removed from office. I told colleagues the other day, I said, you could imagine, Anil, he was in the cabinet, if at a National Security Council meeting, Prime Minister Kamla Prasad Bisesa was told that 1,600 body cams in our office somewhere pack up because we don't have chargers. My friend, the Minister of National Security would be calling a taxi to go home. He would have to call his wife and say, come and pick me up. I don't have a drop to come home. She would have pelted him out the window of the upper floor. You can't survive in Kamla Prasad Bisesa cabinet with that level of incompetence. Never. And the body cams are critical. But don't be surprised. You all remember the whole talk about pepper spray, pepper spray, pepper spray? Where the pepper spray? Where gone? Every January, there's remember pepper spray at the death anniversary of Andrea Barrett, who was brutally murdered and kidnapped. That's the only time people remember pepper spray. When the anniversary of the death. In fact, we should call it the January pepper spray. Because that's all the time people, then just forget that. What about what else? Tasers for defenseless persons or persons operating in the night, going to work and things. Tasers. What about the electronic monitoring system, which we passed the law for? All of that they have failed to implement, brothers and sisters, because they're busy playing golf. The chairman of Paria, have you all seen the news? He's going to France now. You know, you tell people go to France? Well, he's going to France, literally. He's the manager of a golf team going to France. September 3rd, he gone, chairman of Paria. When they are investigating the divers matter, he out, as he was away from the divers matter. And I'll come to that in a minute. So brothers and sisters, that is the incompetence. A final issue I'll leave you with tonight. I had raised with you on June 10th, thereabout, during the very successful meetings of the STAR team. And again, we want to thank all of you for your overwhelming support to Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa and her STAR team that delivered a resounding victory at the polls. But on June 10th, I raised a matter, and I raised it, I think, subsequent to that as well. of Udicott. You remember I told you in Udicott, they had done something that was considered mad. They had accepted tenders for the construction of what is called the Central Block. And I told you that they accepted tenders, and when tenders closed at 4 o'clock a Friday evening, May 23rd, I think, they went and say, the next bidder apparently sent it in, and it had a next technological infrastructure problem. The bid didn't come in. So we accept that third bid. Only 2 people bid, but they accepted a third when the record showed that that third did not bid by 4:30, the closing deadline. And the other bidders did not know of the third bidder. So they were disadvantaged. They didn't know what was the price, what that third bidder come in at. And they actually went the Monday after and made presentations and didn't know there was a third bidder. Udicott claimed we had a technical glitch. You know, they went and gave the contract to the third bidder. Quiet. Emoni, pusur. They go on and give the bidder, the third bidder, who did not submit properly on time. Whether it was technical or not is irrelevant. The rule is clear. Even if there's a technical problem, it is not the fault of Udicott, you cannot qualify. You understand what happened there? Now, brothers and sisters, that was for the Central Block, what is called construction. You know Udicott do it again? They do it again. Jolene, Udicott go on bold and brave and put out this. I think we have it here. Proposal for the management of tower cranes for the redevelopment of the Central Block at Port of Spain General Hospital. Big 24-page Udicott, 24-page, man. One company and one company alone submitted a bid called Trinidad Tower Crane Services Limited. They submit a bid. So when the time comes, they will know when you open the box or whatever that only one company submit a bid. So Udicott tell the company, well, always the only people who could have crane operation is those big giant cranes you have all around the buildings and so on when you're in construction and things. That's a very sophisticated thing, and that has to do with life and death, right? So one company, Trinidad Tower Crane Services Limited, put in their bid. They said they were doing it before with Shanghai. They were working with Shanghai before, and now they want the job again, so they put in their bid. They went back and bid. When the results come out, one company alone put in the bid. So Udicott said, well, come now, let's negotiate now so we could get this thing going. Lo and behold, Udicott then tell them, okay, we need you again. They went and give the same contractor they gave through the back door, they gave them the management of tower cranes contract. Without the company even bidding, without even taking place. Well, what these people think they're running? Huh? Where's Afra Raymond? First to begin, is he on the compound? Is he alive? Did he migrate? If he migrate, which country he went to? What is the JCC or something doing? They know about this, they care. When we in office, man lying down hungry over highway. Every Monday morning, JCC and the papers and the news. We know all of them name more than David Rudder and Sparrow and Kitchener. You know them name. Now you're not hearing them. Udicott go on and give the same Universal, I believe, the contract for this. You know what the company did? They call up Tower Crane and say, hello, we could hire some of your people. So they knew the price because it's public when you bid the price. So they knew the price, the people come in. They went now and give the company, same company the contract. The company go on and hire the workers at the company that did not get the contract. They take the workers. But you know what's important about that, and I'll tell you. Apart from the legal issue, and there's a serious problem. When you do that, you take the workers at the lower level, well, not the lower levels, high skill, but the operators. But you do not take management. You do not take supervisory staff. You do not take health and safety. That is dangerous. Because a man is operating a crane, yes, but he needs supervision. He needs to work within a very tight, rigid, disciplinary health and safety policy environment, where if you appear one day and your boots have a hole, there's a problem. So by doing that, they may be exposing workers to serious accidents, to injury to limb, or to fatal injuries when you do things like that. Because the main company, has the supervisory, managerial staff to manage the operators. But when you take the operators, you go out on the street, you say, who driving that car? Who driving that truck? Come, I hire you. But you have no staff in place to manage. So this is another situation, and I pray to God that all of us are wrong. that there is no tragedy at that Port of Spain Central Block. Tonight I want to alert you that this matter is deserving of a public inquiry into the construction of the Port of Spain Central Block. This is a Las Alturas matter again, and it's the same character. A fella named Noel Garcia, we could call his name. He's involved in this. And Mr. Garcia, tonight, be on alert. Be on alert. We also intend to write the Integrity Commission on this matter and your role in this matter. Because you see, the Integrity Commission does play smart. They want to investigate people who by their action or inaction cause a contract to be given to somebody. Right? They want to investigate that. And they're investigating one or two of that we are aware of. But they must investigate this as well. Because by the action or inaction of Noel Garcia, he has caused a benefit to go to one company and a disadvantage to another company. And that constitutes public mischief and misbehavior in public office that leads to financial benefit for someone else. So brothers and sisters, we will not leave that alone. That's called a heart all over again at UDCOT. Noel Garcia, he was in the same HDC. When we went there was a mess to clean up Jolene John. And when we say mess, I mean literal mess too. They build housing estate, give out all the house and forget to build a sewer system. Jolene John had to send in 20 trucks every Monday morning to pump waste, to put it in a nice way. To pump waste. So we had to figuratively, metaphorically, and literally clean up the mess of the PNM. That is what happened there. So brothers and sisters, we will keep you posted with some of these matters. A public inquiry into the Central Block. The Shanghai contract for $1 billion collapsed. They give a bidder who never bid in time. They go on and give the contract. Now the crane operator who qualified, they didn't give the crane operator the contract. That major company that is doing this and is one of the very few companies in the Caribbean that has capacity to do this. So you will hear more of that soon. The final issue now, which is really a minute or two to tell you, the divers matter. Take note, we will talk on another occasion about that divers issue. A new commission, chairman of a commission of inquiry was appointed, Mr. Jerome Lynch, Queen's Counsel, replacing Mr. Dennis Morrison, Queen's Counsel. A chairman of a commission, before the things start good, he gone. He said, well, June 14, 2022, the resignation. He says for personal reasons, personal. I don't want to stay. Personal. Now, I will say more on that on another occasion, but I don't want to prejudice or preempt any other statements on that matter by persons who are more in the know than I. So, brothers and sisters, in concluding, it's time I finish my statement. I want to again thank all of you for the overwhelming support to our political leader, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and her team that was victorious in our internal elections. This team is a strong team. We are driven by a strong leader, a leader who provides guidance, a leader who provides, the direction in which we must go at all material times. She provides direction, she provides guidance, and really motivates and inspires a team that is well prepared, ready in the shortest possible time to take over the reins of power in Trinidad and Tobago. Brothers and sisters, Keith Rowley, by his behavior, he is ready to go. He is ready to go. All he needs is a little push in the back. Just a little push. He's ready to go. The fella like he frustrated already, he's ready to go. But UNC, we are ready. We are waiting. We are strong. We are united. We have one leader, one party, one vision. We have the plans. The country knows that you will see progress with the UNC. The country knows the compassion of Kamla Prasad Bisesa, her leadership capability, all that she has done and her government has done when we were there 2010 to 2015. You all know it sometime by heart. So brothers and sisters, today I want to call upon all of you to work harder than we worked before, to unite more than we united before, to join hands, lock our arms in an embrace, support our political leader as the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Rowley must go. brothers and sisters, the government must go. And tonight we say the UNC is on the move. We are UNC and we are proud. Thank you all, thank you all, thank you all. And God bless you all.